Hi again! Welcome to Mango Day, a guide to mindful and creative living. This is Nancy Pham. I was a family nurse practitioner who quit my career in December to start fulfilling my dream of having my own creative business. So welcome back again. And I want to just say hi. Sorry for the long wait. There's been a lot of transition since I moved from California to Salt Lake City. And I am so sorry I've been gone for a while, but I'm so excited to be back again. Today, I wanted to talk with you guys a little bit more about change and how change is so freaking hard, but also so important for us as well. It's normal for us to want to feel comfortable in a defined structure that has a sense of safety to it. But change is also really important for growth. So that's why I wanted to bring it up today. And before we start, I always do some guided meditation. Today, though, I decided not to do the guided part, and I just want you guys to be able to sit here with me and meditate in silence because I'm working on learning how to guide people through meditations. I can listen to it and understand it, but I am working on actually being better at conveying it. And I have such amazing friends like Danielle Duong. Actually in Vietnamese is Danielle Duong. She guides amazing guided meditations on Thursdays. So I'm going to link her down below if you guys want to reach out to her. She's a life coach. She's a Kaiser. She is my girl crush. Just an amazing person overall, but she does amazing guided meditations on Thursdays and I love it so much. So I'm going to shout out to her, but let's do some silent meditation and just see where our thoughts are right now. So go ahead and find a comfortable position. If you're sitting, fantastic. If you're like me, sitting in a chair, we're just going to sit, okay? I'm going to set my timer for 2 minutes and you're going to see how you're going to feel afterwards. So give me a second. And I also noticed outside the window, my nieces are coming back, so you might hear children's voices screaming and shouting in like the most delightful way. So if you guys can just ignore that or just let it pass you by, that would be fantastic. 2 minutes. Let's get started, everybody. Where's the timer app? I don't really like time, so I never really use this, but we're going to do not an hour. We're just going to do 2 minutes and see how we feel. Go. Wow, that was already 2 minutes. That is crazy. 2 minutes, you guys. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me on that meditation. I'm wondering how you guys are feeling. I feel energized and overall at ease. So it feels pretty good, and I'm just happy that you guys can join me and do that with me. So let me go ahead and just shut the door because I'm pretty sure they're going to run in. And if they do, we'll have them say hi. But let me close the door real fast. And yeah, don't mind all of the crafting materials in the back. I've been working on lots and lots of jewelry and accessories. So it's been awesome, but that is for the YouTube. So I wanted to talk about change because if you're following me at all, or if you're just kind of reflecting on your life, there's been a lot of change over the last few years. And for me, over the last 6 months or so, when I started meditating, life changed. And as I finally come to start settling down in Salt Lake, I've had to let go of my past, right? The way I've lived my life. I would party all the time. I had a lot of friends. We would do things together, but our relationship wasn't the deepest, and I wasn't fully present. And that's why I'm so grateful that we can meditate together and try to leave our thoughts maybe out the door so that we can be here with each other right now and get to know each other and just get closer to ourselves and each other. But change has been a huge part of my life, and I could say that a lot of people around me are going through a lot of changes too. And it's something that we can resist it or we can embrace it and learn from it. So when I started the small business, I could say that I was horrified. I was so scared of not being seen as a professional anymore, of having to start over, honestly, I gave up my friends who I kind of didn't really give up. I have to be aware that I had to leave so that I wouldn't have any distractions and get to know myself better. But I made a lot of changes and they were very frightening, but it was completely necessary for me to be where I am right now, which is actually much more fulfilled and in tune with who I am and what makes me feel like every day is worth waking up for. If I were to die tomorrow, I just don't want to live in regret. And for me, just shifting a little bit, testing it out, seeing if I could even do this, let it grow, maybe go back to nursing, that would be great. But for now, I just have to be okay with kind of being in like the ocean. And that's what I kind of envision it as, is like you're kind of just wading in the ocean and the water's just kind of moving you about. There's no really crazy rapids or waves crashing down on you, but you're just kind of with the motion and trying to learn from that experience. Like I've learned more every day now than I have in the past few years, where I would forget every day. Things would just blur together all the time. And I just don't think that's the life I wanted. I wanted to be able to appreciate the sun right now, right? It's almost spring, you guys. It's beautiful. Like the winter, I wanted to appreciate winter. I've always hated it because I grew up not having very warm clothes, and it was very, very horrible for a kid to be cold all the time. I can appreciate these things now more than before, and I hope that we can talk about change a little bit more together. Why am I talking about change and why is this so important? I think if we only live our lives making sure things are going to go the exact way we want it to go, we're not really giving ourselves the opportunity to grow. And that's not fair for you, because life is about the journey of understanding your purpose. Why are you even alive, right? So I would say, for example, myself, over the last 3 years, everything was extremely predictable. During COVID, I was still working, I knew what is lying ahead every moment of every day. But the thing is, it all blurred together, and I kind of didn't embrace any of it. It was just trying to get through it so that we could overcome COVID and move on with the future. But COVID taught us something really, really important, is that we need to recognize change is gonna happen. My hope for us is that we can start to embrace change just a little bit more than we have before. So if you're really, really uncomfortable with it, that's okay. It's okay to be scared of change. Have you guys heard of the saying, the only constant is change? It was by a Greek philosopher. I don't even know if I want to say his name because I'm pretty sure I'm going to say it wrong. It looks like Heraclitus or Heraclitus. I think a lot of us just have a love-hate relationship with change, and realistically, it's going to happen no matter what. COVID taught us that. And here we are, here to take in another beautiful day. But if you're really resistant to change, I just wanted to talk about a few things that maybe can open up your mind to change a little bit. Have you guys heard of the growth versus fixed mindset? This was observed by a Stanford psychologist, Carol Dweck. She looked at college students to see who was actually going to succeed in college and who wasn't. And she found that the folks who had more of a growth mindset was actually better at adapting to the difficulties and the turmoils of college. And yes, now that I think about college, I am so glad I'm not back there again because it was really rough. But this was actually the first time I heard about this mindset. And what it is that if you have a fixed mindset, you just believe in who you are is going to be who you are forever. So there's a lot of limiting beliefs that we have. And if you believe in it, then it's going to really put you back, because if you think you're going to fail like I did, then you're going to fail. And then the growth mindset is recognizing that things are not permanent and that things can be changed. So I just want to read you the definition so that you guys have a better idea of it. So, according to Carol Dweck, your mindset is a self-perception or self-theory you hold about yourself. And if you have a fixed mindset, people will believe that their basic qualities like their intelligence or their talents are completely fixed. You can't change it. It is just what it is, and you're just going to have to accept it. Whereas folks with a growth mindset believe that their most basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. Brain and talent are just the starting point. So if you're lucky and you're gifted, like I knew a lot of people at UCLA, those folks had like freaking photographic memory, some of them. And then some of them were just really well trained. They had prep school. So being able to recognize what mindset you have is one of the best first steps to even recognizing why change might be so hard. Because if you actually just believe that, for example, you're a failure, then why would you put in the effort to try harder? Why would you put in the effort to change a situation or change yourself? It wouldn't make sense, because your belief it's your belief, right? So, for example, if you have a fixed mindset, you might feel that you must prove you are smart. But if you have a growth mindset, you're open to new ideas and eager to learn them. So one person might say, well, I'm a genius. I'm going to be a genius forever. Let's say you were valedictorian in high school and you're going to expect to be a valedictorian in, college. And if it doesn't work out, you're just like, well, I'm a failure because I'm not smart anymore. It's kind of black and white. But if you have growth mindset, you can say, well, I am still smart, but I have to work differently and I have to learn differently. But none of these other things discount who I am as a person. It doesn't discount my self-worth. And that's something I wanted to explain to you guys, is that what I notice, at least amongst my peers and sometimes amongst myself, is that sometimes I refuse to change, or I don't want to change, because if I can't do something really well and feel that sense of satisfaction that it's done perfectly, sometimes I don't even want to try it. And that's where change is really important to start to embrace. Because if you don't even want to change it, then you've already failed. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think that's why I wanted to really emphasize this point, that if you're just so scared to fail because your whole self-worth is just this, whatever you framed it as, it's so fixed, then you're never going to learn new things. And that's just, it's kind of sad, because life is about embracing some new things. It doesn't have to be all the time. Not all of us are trying to, have tons of adrenaline rushes all the time, but even learning new things, it doesn't have to be impossible. And I always ask myself, like, am I the same person I was a year ago? Am I the same person I was 5 years ago? Am I the same person I was last week? So something I always try to ask other people so that they can gauge where they are in life, whether they're even open to change, all these things, especially when I was working with patients and my peers, is, who are you? Are you the same person you were a year ago? Are you the same person you were 5 years ago? Are you the same person you were last week? And do you like this person? Do you want to be this person? And are you willing to try to change? So these are just really simple questions, but they start getting us to think, right? So yes, ask yourself these things. Am I the same person? Because I guess I look at self-love as trying to be the best version of myself, not for other people, not to be like number one runner or the number one whatever, but it's like in my spirit. One of the best quotes that has helped define why I'm such a proponent of change and embracing change is by psychiatrist Scott Peck. He has a definition of love, which is the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another's spiritual growth. So I read this in Bell Hook's book, All About Love. And it means that I can love myself for who I am right now, but still want to nurture my spirituality and my own well-being and all of these things so that I could become a better version of myself for myself and others. Like, I want to be able to communicate better. I want to be braver. I want to be able to inspire change in myself and others. So if you're very scared of change, it's completely normal. Most people are. It's very uncomfortable. But if you give yourself some leeway to be compassionate with yourself and love yourself, you might see that it might be you might have to go through some changes to reach the version of you that you want to be. We're all supposed to keep growing. And I still don't think every day should blend into the next day. It's like a gift. Every day is a gift. And we open another present. And we'll remember the last present, but we get a new present every single day. So that's kind of how I look at it. And if you can embrace change, that's going to help. So we talked about the fixed and the growth mindset. And then that's just understanding baseline where we're coming from. To be able to make change, and this is where a lot of motivational interviewing comes in. So ask yourself these questions, and you can really start recognizing if you're pre-contemplative for change, if you're ready for change, all of that stuff. If you're pre-contemplative, it means that you're just not ready for change. And maybe it's good to explore why you don't want to change. But no one can make you change. And that's something you learn in medicine is as a primary care provider, I'm here to support your growth and I'll cheer you on. And even if it doesn't work out, that's fine, because most people fail 7 times before they can even quit smoking, right? You're expected to fail, but you're not really failing because you're going to try again. You only fail if you just are like, that's it, I'm done. And even then, it's okay. You're not supposed to be good at everything. But yeah, you should really quit smoking. It just is horrible for you. Anyway, So when you start assessing your own readiness for change, if you're kind of ready for change, which we call contemplative, then you're going to have to go into your mind. And most people don't know how to do that. But there's a field in psychology called cognitive behavioral therapy. It doesn't fix everything, but it can help you break up that fixed mindset, those automatic thoughts, especially those negative ones, and then try to reframe them into something more balanced so that your thoughts aren't blocking you from your own success. I can give you an example of how this goes, and I was going to put it on my blog and then kind of go through it a little bit more in depth in like a little workbook that I'm making. But what it is basically you recognizing something is going to make you feel a certain way, a strong emotion. And then you're going to notice if you have like an internal dialogue. Usually it's just kind of like a mean person telling you you're a failure, you're an idiot, you're not lovable, all these things. And then after that, you're going to actually almost like talk to this dialogue and kind of just go like, well, that makes me feel sad. It makes me feel angry. It makes me feel whatever. And then you're going to notice how strong the emotion is and then start questioning it. You're going to ask yourself like, well, am I always a failure? Have I failed at everything in life? Has there been some stuff I've been okay at? And that's when you regroup all of these thoughts and make a balanced thought. So you're going to say, well, I did fail this test, but I have done really well in all my other classes. And I think maybe I just need to study differently for OChem than I would for an English final, And then reassess your emotion again and be like, wow, I don't feel as crappy. And that you can do that actually with almost anything. And it can help you kind of modulate your extreme reaction to it, especially if it's a negative reaction, so that it doesn't push you back and keep you from your goals. So for example, after college in 2010 and 2011, I wasn't able to find a job because the only thing I ever did in college was research. During that time, during the recession, there just weren't that many jobs, so I wasn't even really able to do anything. But I'm scrappy, right? So I went to community college and I was feeling really down. So I decided to talk to the counselor there and I told her that I felt like a failure in life. And this was me at like 21, 22. And I'm like, yep, I just failed at life and I suck and this is it. So I was kind of caught in that, fixed mindset. So she taught me CBT and that's how I was able to really go through each of my thoughts, like just one thought a week even, to try to reframe how I viewed myself. And by doing that, even for a month or two, I think, I just recognize that anytime something negative comes up, it doesn't stop me from what I need to do. It doesn't define me. And I'm able to push through and make the changes to be able to succeed in whatever it is I wanted to do. So I'm going to try to put stuff up on my blog and, get things for you guys to try to test it out. I'll probably put a link now, and then I wanted to make more beautiful types of handouts if you guys want to purchase those on my Etsy store. But yeah, try it out and let me know what you think. If it actually is helpful at all, I'll probably actually guide us at some point through one where we write it down and you guys can kind of follow along. So that's it for today. I just wanted to talk about change, where we're at with change. Are we able to embrace it? Are we able to be ready for change? Do you even want change? And if you do, how do you get to it? So thank you so much for joining me today. I had a lovely time talking with you guys, and I can't wait to talk with you guys again soon. I'm going to try every week or every 2 weeks. I'm still hoping for the podcast to actually interview people who inspire me in the realm of mental health. I have so many peers who are therapists, psychiatrists, psychologists that I would love to interview and I just wish would co-host with me. If you guys are kind of bored and want to co-host with me, that would be amazing. But until then, thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.